Now, the whole idea of having databases, in this case real-time databases, is so that we're able to real-time change data, or at least make sure that users can see when data is changed in real time. What we can do now is to add an event listener to our data as it's being added. So this data that we're adding here, we're going to add an event listener to the snapshot of it. That way, every time we add a new data, every time we are changing something, it will right away change that data. Okay, let's go ahead and see how that does work. First of all, we need to think about where is it that we're going to be attaching this real-time functionality to our reference here, right? Now we could have attached it inside of onCreate, that's totally fine, but the problem here is that whenever onCreate is called, it's a little bit too late for us to attach anything, right? Because onCreate calls once everything has started, everything is set, it's ready now for us to show everything to the user. So instead, we are going to override the onStart. So we come somewhere outside here of onCreate. I'm going to start typing onStart, okay? I'm going to use our journal reference here. I'm going to say dot add snapshot listener as such. And here I could go ahead and just pass in a new event listener like that. And it's wonderful. It still works. Okay. But the problem with this is if we do this way, that means when we attach our journal ref attached this add snapshot listener here, so it's very expensive. We want to get rid of it the moment that our activity is dying or is on stop, right? As we go through the activity life cycles. Now, what we could do at this point, we could go ahead and override, for instance, the on stop. The on stop, then we'll have to fetch our request listener here, right? In this case, and then kill it on stop. We don't want to do that, because that's a little bit complicated. Not really complicated, but it's just like, it just adds a little bit more of code. The cool thing is we can just go ahead and pass this, meaning this activity inside here, which will trigger our add snapshot listener here. The moment that it's all done, it doesn't need to be listening anymore. It's going to go ahead and destroy our reference here. Okay, so every time, go ahead and just pass this. Notice that without this, it worked fine, but the moment we add this, it also allows us to add that context because it's just going to go ahead and say, okay, this is attached to our main activity. Once everything is done and we no longer need to keep listening to our snapshot, we're just going to go ahead and go through the process of killing this listener, so that way we give back the memory. That is a small thing, but nevertheless very important one. So inside of our own event, so this is where everything happens. Notice we have our document snapshot object that has been passed here, and we also have this exception here. So it is possible that there's an exception, meaning something didn't go right. In this case here, I'm going to check. I'm going to say if exception E that's been passed is not null, meaning that we have an exception, we're going to do something. Well, first of all, we're going to just go ahead and say toast, say this, and say something went wrong. And then toast that length, and we're going to go ahead and show it. It looks like instead of this, I'm going to just go ahead and add main at this because we are inside of another inner class there. Very good. But importantly also, we need to just return like this to say that we need to get out of here like that, because we want to get out of here. It looks like we don't need, Android Studio doesn't like this. Okay, I'm just going to remove it. That's fine. But in any case, if you're running into issues where this just halts here, you can just make sure you put a return there. For some reason, it's not wanting for me to show that return there. In any case, so once we all have that done, we made sure that in case that E, exception is not null, meaning something happened, we're going to show that message. Else, in this case here, we're going to move on and continue doing what we need to do. What is that we want to do? Well, we have our document snapshot here, which means we have the data. So what we're going to do actually here, I'm going to go ahead and say if document snapshot exists. Yeah, I'm going to check that if that's true. In fact, looks like I need to pass something else here. Let's surround it like that. Okay, if document snapshot is not null and document snapshot exists, there we go. Then we are ready to do things. Well, the code that we're going to pass here is the same code as we had before. Let's see. It is pretty much the same code as here. So I'm going to just copy this and come down here and add all of it here. Okay, so now we're getting from a document snapshot, get the string key and thought, and we're going to put inside of our text views. That's all. Okay. That's all indeed. So our reference now, it has this add snapshot listener, which is going to be listening to changes that are going to be made right away. And then it's going to go ahead and update our user interface. Let's go ahead and run this one more time to hopefully see what's going to happen. There we go. This is from last time. Let's go ahead and add something new here. I'm going to say second thought. There we go, second thought. I'm going to say, I hope this works. All right, so the moment I say save, look at that. The moment I saved, went ahead and added this data here right away, right? So it didn't actually save first. Went ahead and just put in the user interface, second thought, I hope this works, and then it's saved, right? In fact, I can come down here and put another one. I'm going to say third, say watch out for errors like this. Notice that we will just keep your eyes around here. So first of all, the top here, we know it's going to happen, but also notice the unsuccess it's going to be shown right after the user interface has been updated. Okay, so save. Look at that. This was saved first and then success showed. And there we go. So now you notice that anytime we add something, we don't have to go and say show data because it goes ahead, fetches the data right away and puts in the user interface. Indeed, that's what we set it to do here. Okay. Now you'll notice something very interesting here as we do all this stuff. Let's look at our data. Notice it only shows the last data that we've added. So every time we add a new item, it goes ahead and deletes the previous one and replaces with the newest that we've added. Okay, so that is indeed the behavior of Firestore. Okay, very good.